This trip is going to be different from our first visit 2 years ago. Then Steve, my husband, and I had travelled with our two drumming friends, Suleiman and Salifu, to visit their hometown in order to learn more about West African musical traditions and culture. But now sadly Salifu's dead, killed in a car crash in 2008, and we're determined to go out and continue the project he had started. We formed a charity called Alanu Wali. That means thanks be to God, a favourite saying of Salifu's, to complete the cultural centre building he dreamed of. And then there are the bikes. We certainly hope to find them a good home. Hopefully we shall have a good holiday at the same time though, catching up with old friends and letting Steve drum every day with the master drummers of Guinea. This has been a passion of his since that day 5 years ago when he first heard the djembes being played on Ventnor Esplanade. Once at Heathrow, the bikes sailed off on the conveyor for large and awkward items, and we settled down for the long flight to Conakry. But as all travellers know, once we'd arrived at Conakry Airport, the first problem was to retrieve our luggage. This went okay until the Guinean customs officials wanted a bribe just to let the bikes in. I only had 1,000 Guinean francs. That's about 15p, so they were less than amused. I smiled a lot, and they finally gave up. All we had to do now was load the bikes onto the minibus and drive 150 miles along a potholed road. Slightly worse than the Isle of Wight. Now we had a couple of days to spare, and we could relax and acclimatise to the heat. What better way than a paddle in the gorgeous local Batafon River? The hassles of getting the bikes here begin to fade. Now we're settled in, Steve has a chance to look at the Cultural Centre project site and compare what's actually been built with the plans he'd seen at home. The builder is a man called Seni. He's the one with the conical hat, who was one of Salifu the drummer's oldest friends. Seni is a key member of the whole charity project. This cultural centre will encourage tourists to visit Guinea, to learn about their musical heritage and bring with them much needed foreign cash. Seni's keen to oversee everything and live on site as a caretaker, and as this fits in with the charity's plans, we order materials and start building a one-roomed house for him. Day by day, the building work progresses. One night, we heard that one of the labourers had an emergency. His father had been taken ill and needed to go to hospital for treatment. He needed to leave early that morning with enough money to pay for medicines. We'd already decided to give him one of the bikes as he lived about 15 miles away and walks or hitches to work every day. We had a whip round for some money for the hospital and told him about the bike. He was over the moon, but he really wanted the bike then. So Steve set to and with his help rebuilt the bike and off he went. In this part of rural Guinea, there are none of the basic services that we take for granted in England, such as running water, electricity or mains drainage. Here they have to draw water from a well in the village. As you can see, white people aren't very good at it. On the hillside where we're staying, however, the water gets brought up from the river in jerry cans. It's been filtered but isn't sterile, so we stick to bottled water for drinking. Surprisingly, there's no shortage of water in Guinea, as there are lots of rivers, but the problem is the sheer time and energy needed to get it to people's homes. Makes you very careful how you use it. Steve's drum teachers have offered to play at a party in aid of a women's project, and we're all invited. The women, dressed to kill and ready to dance the afternoon away, meet regularly and pay a small amount into a central fund. A bit like a Christmas club, but here it is given to one of them in turn to buy large purchases like a sewing machine or a few chickens. thus helping each of them to build a better life. Today's party is to celebrate the whole group's success, and they certainly hit the floor dancing with true Guinean vigour, setting the world alight until the local mosque calls people to prayer, as Guinea is essentially a Muslim country. Seni the builder has really impressed us. Africans tend to live very much from day to day, but he's clearly understood the need to plan the expenditure by the charity and keeps all his receipts, as well as coming up with really good ideas for the project. We want to reward him by giving him the second bike, which will help him keep in touch with his family in Kolobui and make his trips into town so much easier and, of course, free. We've kept the bike a secret from him until now, and everyone enjoys the moment it's rolled out. The drummers shout out that it'll be the smartest bike in Kolobui. I am relieved to have found good homes for both bikes and trying to forget all the others who've sidled up to me to say how much they too would like a bike. Maybe next time. It's sad to leave our friends behind in Bokeh, but we have just a few days before flying home to visit other parts of the country, the beach at Bel Air and the lovely Room Island. Time to chill out, drum under the palm trees and watch the world go by. It's been a great trip. 2 old bikes from Ventnor have a new lease of life. Steve's drumming has moved up another notch and we're ready for the next phase of fundraising for Olaniwali. If you'd like to help us with the project, perhaps you'd like to get in touch with me via this website, Guinea, that's Guinea, @ventnortv.com. Thank you. And by the way, Suli's father took his medicine and came out of hospital. The bike is making regular trips up and down the road from the village. Seni's house is finished and he's looking forward to the next phase of the project. Thank you.